Let's bring in ABC News contributor and former Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism and Threat Prevention at the Department of Homeland Security, Elizabeth Neumann. So, Elizabeth, you work for a company now, Moonshot, which analyzes online threats. Can you tell us what specific threats is the intel community looking at right now for this election cycle? And what is your top concern after seeing that data?
That's right. So I do work for Moonshot, which analyzes narratives that are happening on domestic violent extremist spaces across the internet. And we are seeing widespread discussions about how to catch and detect election fraud, encouragements of people to go and monitor drop boxes as well as polling places, as well as suggestions about how to conceal weaponry and or to intimidate people by photographing them or by asking them questions as they're trying to cast their ballot. So that voter intimidation is a big concern. There is also just the concern that is very difficult to predict, that you will end up with a small number of individuals who will decide that violence is the answer, and it's just unknown where that might manifest, which is why you heard from Pierre. The Department of Homeland Security, the FBI is calling on everybody to be vigilant. If you see something, say something. And certainly it should be well known to the American public that voter intimidation is illegal. And if you see that occurring, you are to report it to your local polling official as well as law enforcement, and that can get passed on to the Department of Justice.
So now you told us you're actually more concerned about what happens after Election Day rather than Election Day itself. Can you just dig a little deeper into that for us?
That's right. So we do think that the ground has been seeded for conspiracy theories to come after Election Day. And what we tend to see happen, and we won't know until the election results come about, but we'll see, examples of people claiming fraud. They'll take videos that are innocuous and read something into them. And that's where we get concerned both about targeting specific election officials that might be scapegoated online as somehow perpetrating this mass fraud, as well as anytime you see somebody point to a specific location, a specific time and place to protest. That's what we had. Those were the elements we had with January 6th. We had the president say, come on January 6th to the Capitol. If we start to see something like that in any particular state where a conspiracy has manifest, that's where we start to get more concerned that violence might be likely.
So it's going to take days to count the votes in some states, right, including Georgia, where groups like the ACLU have already filed lawsuits to ensure absentee voters will have enough time to cast their ballots. About 60% of voters will see an election denier on the ballot. We've talked about that. Just putting this all together, how much of a threat do you see this?
You know, I think the thing that we have going for us is because you have so many elections and they're in so many different states, it might be slightly harder to coalesce around one particular location, one particular conspiracy. But that doesn't mean that we might not have smaller instances of violence. And certainly, as Pierre noted, we have domestic violent extremist actors that look for moments like this. They look for opportunities to try to create the chaos and foment violence, because their aim is to bring upon a civil war, to try to create uncertainty and chaos within the environment. So we're worried both about the election disinformation, conspiracy theories that may lead to violence, as well as those domestic violent extremist actors that are just looking for the opportunity to cause violence.
Well, let's just hope there isn't any violence. Elizabeth Neumann, glad we're talking about it, though. People need to be aware. Appreciate you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.